We might have a generational quarterback, and I get to call plays for him. Like that might be too much to pass up for right now. And like you said, heavily compensated, likes living in Knoxville. It's a good job. I wonder if there's a Nico pull there.
There might be. The thing with Nico would be, I mean, you'll have to see how he comes in and competes and, everything with Joe. But, I feel like if everybody had their choosing, it's, taking into account the Nico family as well, the Iamaleava family, it would be Joe Milton, your starting quarterback the entire next season. Nico's sitting there, sponge, soaking everything up, learning, getting bigger, developing his body, learning the offense, all that type of stuff. I mean, I understand nowadays, especially in the NFL, it's like you draft him, you play him, or the Trevor Lawrence of the world sit 4 games and they're thrusted into action. And there's a need, especially if there's a highly regarded recruit and all that. And that's going to be here in Knoxville with Nico. But so many times you just want to sit there and learn and not get rushed or thrown into anything. And so, we'll see what happens. But yeah, maybe for Alex Golesh, there's that lure there. But I mean, that might take a couple of years. Are you willing to still stay here for a couple of years and bypass on those opportunities? Maybe you are. I don't know. We'll see. But it's a good situation to be in, if you ask me. If you're Alex Golesh, if you're some of these other coaches that have this influx of talent coming in and kind of where you are right now. As far as the defense is concerned, I've written a couple of things at Volquest.com earlier this week, and we'll have other stuff coming out every single day this week, kind of on the looking back at the season. I mean, I get the frustrations, the defensive performances. It's South Carolina, no excuse. Almost allowing Florida to come back, no excuse. Alabama's Alabama. You just won that football game, right? But, man, I mean, you look at the stat sheet, Tennessee improved by a touchdown in terms of points per game. Went from 29.7 from a year ago to like 23.3. So that's improved. The yards per game slightly improved by about 33 yards. So, again, there's much more steps to be taken. I think in-game adjustments, there weren't many this year, and that was frustrating. I think the lack of trying out new personnel at times was a little frustrating. So I'm not saying it's perfect, but there are steps in the right direction. Tennessee did some things. Vanderbilt's not great. Pitched a shutout in SEC play. Will Levis will be in the NFL draft, and he will be among the top 5-6 quarterbacks taken. Held him to 98 yards passing, held Kentucky to 6 points. On the road at LSU, held Jaden Daniels, sure he had 300 yards passing, but they were playing from behind the entire game. Held LSU, which was in the college football playoff conversation until last week, to 13 points. Tennessee's defense took a step this year. It just needs to continue taking a couple of steps every single year to get back to where you're truly playing some complementary football to what Josh Heupel does.
Over under. Nico Iamaleava starts 3 games next year.
I will go. Ooh, that might be good. That might be the push there. I'll go under. I think everybody wants it to be under. I'll go under, but it might be 2. It might be a push right at 3.
I think people need to prepare for this. Like, there's going to be we haven't seen this kind of pressure in the NIL era with somebody like Nico. Like Joe, everyone wants it to be Joe. It's a great story. You have to, just for the culture, I think, start, because like he stayed, and you want to emphasize like this is Joe's job. He did something that most touted quarterbacks would not do. But the Virginia game, I mean, it just we're gonna see like if it's anything like what we saw last year. We saw the change happen in game 3 or 4, and I mean, it would probably mean just, look, we're not going to compete for a CFP next year. If you make that switch, it's just too much to put on Nico as a true freshman. But like, I don't know. And then you have the Taven thing. Like, is Taven Jackson a Tennessee Vol next year? Do you think he stays?
I think this spring will be big for Taven. Number one, he's hurt right now.
Yeah.
So like, who would really want to take a chance on him right now? He doesn't have much tape. He's hurt. The spring, you can come in. You'll be healthy. Number one, you get to continue to develop under, in my opinion, the best quarterbacks coach in the country, and Josh Heupel and Joey Halsey. See where you stand. I think the spring will be huge for him in that regard. And then after spring, if okay, I am for sure clearly number 3, no doubt about it. I'm going to go and leave and be healthy and get a new opportunity, then go ahead. But I expect him to be here in spring, and I think this will be a big spring for him. I just don't think that there's a lot. And I could be wrong. He can maybe go in the transfer portal, December the 5th when it opens up for undergraduates. But I think that he would want to kind of see where he stands in spring.
Final 2 questions for you, Eric. The 3 wideouts who play the most snaps together next year will be who?
Ooh, okay. So you're saying is Jalen Hyatt coming back?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't know. I feel like for Jalen Hyatt, it might be too good of an opportunity to pass up. Also,